All right, strap in, everyone. We're about to dive deep into some physics that'll really twist your brain.
Ooh, sounds exciting.
Oh, it is. Today's focus is the time force hypothesis, TFH for short.
Ah, yes, TFH, a truly revolutionary concept.
Exactly. And we're going to be working through some academic excerpts that lay out all the nitty-gritty details, but honestly, you don't need to be a physics whiz to grasp the core idea.
Nope, not at all. TFH is all about reframing how we see the universe.
And get this, it throws out a lot of what we thought we knew about time, gravity, even the Big Bang. Get ready for a serious rethink of reality.
It's pretty amazing how TFH takes all these complex, seemingly separate areas of physics and ties them together with one unifying principle.
Okay, so spill the beans. What's this big unifying principle?
At its core, TFH proposes that the universe is a single, interconnected energy field.
So instead of thinking about the universe as a bunch of separate objects, planets, stars, galaxies,
Right, and all those forces acting on them.
TFH says it's more like one giant swirling ocean of energy.
Exactly. And everything we see, everything we observe, from massive galaxies down to the tiniest particles, comes from this energy. It's always flowing, constantly shifting, always trying to find a balance.
That's a pretty radical concept, to completely reimagine the universe as one interconnected energy field. It's like shifting from seeing a bunch of separate puzzle pieces to realizing it's one big, intricate picture.
A perfect analogy. And just like a puzzle, everything fits together in TFH. The way galaxies form, how stars behave, gravity, even the way time works.
Hold on. Time works differently in this tier.
Yeah, that's a big one. We'll get there. But first, let's stick with this energy field. Does TFH have, like, equations or something to back this idea up? It can't just be, like, a cool idea, right?
Yeah.
It is a cool idea, but it's grounded in some serious math.
All right.
At the heart of TFH is this thing called the Master Equation.
Okay, hit me with it. What's the Master Equation look like?
Well, it's a bit of a mouthful. It's 2 today plus 2F2 eras plus no ISGA.
Whoa. Yeah, that's intense. Definitely not diving into the math today, but what does it tell us?
In a nutshell, this equation describes how energy propagates, interacts throughout the whole universe. It replaces those complicated ideas from traditional physics.
You mean things like space-time curvature or quantum fields, all those head-scratchers.
Yep, those are gone. With TFH, everything comes down to the behavior of this single energy field. That's what that Greek letter ana represents in the equation.
So it's like the ultimate grand unified theory of everything, simplifying all the complexity of physics down to one concept, energy. I like it. It's elegant.
Elegance is definitely one of TFH's strengths. And to help visualize this whole energy flow thing, the excerpts use a pretty helpful analogy.
I do love a good analogy. Lay it on me.
Picture a drop of ink spreading out in a glass of water.
Okay, pretty straightforward so far.
At the start, the ink is all concentrated, but as time passes, it disperses and swirls around. It's trying to reach a state of equilibrium.
So the ink is like the energy, and the water represents the fabric of the universe.
You got it. And just like that ink, energy in the universe is constantly moving, spreading, and trying to even itself out.
So how does this explain something like the Big Bang? I mean, wasn't that supposed to be this massive explosion?
From the TFH perspective, the Big Bang wasn't an explosion of matter, but a massive disturbance in this energy field.
So like, instead of matter exploding outwards, it was more like a ripple effect in the energy field. I can kind of see that.
Exactly. And that initial ripple continues to spread, shaping the universe we see today.
So what about gravity and electromagnetism and all those fundamental forces? Are those just ripples too?
You're on the right track. Instead of thinking of them as separate forces, TFH says they're all just different expressions of this energy flow as it tries to reach a state of balance.
Whoa, that's a big shift. To think that all these forces we observe are just variations on one theme, it's starting to feel like TFH is simplifying the whole universe.
That's a big part of its appeal, its elegance. And we're just getting started.
Wait, there's more. My mind's already bending. What else could possibly blow my mind?
Well, how about this? TFH suggests that time, as we experience it, might not even be a fundamental property of the universe.
Hold on, are you saying time is an illusion?
Maybe not an illusion, but definitely not what we think it is. TFH proposes that time emerges as a consequence of this constant energy flow. It's not a rigid dimension, but more like a fluid aspect of this energy field.
Wow, that is a lot to take in. So time isn't this linear ticking clock, but a dynamic part of the energy field itself. That's intense.
It's definitely a mind-bending concept. But just wait until we get to gravity. TFH has a wild take on that, too.
All right, you've got me hooked. Let's talk gravity. What's this radical new view?
Brace yourself because TFH says gravity isn't a force at all.
Okay, now you've really got my attention.
Hmm.
If gravity isn't a force, then what is it?
It describes gravity as the natural flow of energy towards areas where it's more concentrated.
So instead of things being pulled together by gravity, they're more like being swept along by this energy current.
Exactly. Imagine a bathtub with the drain open. The water naturally swirls towards that drain, right?
Yeah, I've seen that plenty of times.
Well, in TFH, massive objects like planets and stars are like those drains. There are regions of super high energy concentration, and the energy around them naturally flows toward those regions. That's what we experience as gravity.
So no more mysterious force acting at a distance. It's just energy flowing from where it's less concentrated to where it's more concentrated, always seeking balance.
You're getting it. And this neatly eliminates the need for complex theories about gravitons or curved spacetime. Gravity becomes a simple consequence of how the energy field behaves.
It's like everything comes back to that one fundamental principle.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in a way how TFH connects everything together.
Absolutely. It's like finding the missing piece that completes the puzzle. And we're still not done.
Wait, there's more.
Oh yeah, TFH doesn't stop there. It even challenges our understanding of mass.
All right, you've officially piqued my curiosity.
Yeah.
Spill the beans. What's a TFH got to say about mass?
Get this. TFH suggests that mass isn't an intrinsic property of matter, but a measure of how much something resists this universal energy flow.
Wait, so the more something resists this energy flow, the more massive it is.
Precisely. Think of pushing different sized balls through water. A small, smooth ball moves easily, but a larger, rough one meets a lot more resistance.
So are you saying particles are like those balls moving through this cosmic energy field?
Exactly. TFH views particles as tiny vortexes of energy. The more energy swirling in that vortex, the more resistance it has to the universal flow, the more massive it becomes.
So an electron, for example, is like a little energy whirlpool. And the more it resists this flow, the heavier it gets. Mind blown.
That's the beauty of TFH. No need for a Higgs field or any exotic particles. Mass simply emerges from the dynamics of this energy field.
My head is spinning. This TFH theory is turning everything I thought I knew about physics upside down.
And we haven't even touched on those so-called fundamental forces yet. TFH has some interesting things to say about those too. Buckle up, we're going even deeper down the rabbit hole.
All right, my brain is still trying to catch up with all that about mass being resistance. So let's talk about those fundamental forces. Gravity, electromagnetism, strong and weak nuclear forces. Usual suspects. You were saying TFH has a different take on them.
It sure does. It pretty much throws the whole concept of separate fundamental forces right out the window.
Wow. Okay, so if they aren't fundamental, then how does TFH explain them? Are they just like gone?
Not gone, just reinterpreted. Think about a river, right? Sometimes the water flows smooth and calm. Other times you've got whirlpools, rapids, even waterfalls.
Okay, I can picture that. But how does a river explain the fundamental forces?
Well, it's all still just water behaving in different ways depending on the conditions, right?
Right, it's still H2O no matter how it's moving.
Exactly. And TFH says the same thing about those forces. They're not different things acting on the universe. They're just different expressions of this one energy flow responding to different conditions.
So gravity pulling us down, magnets attracting, those are all just variations on the same theme, like different dance moves, but it's all part of the same dance.
You've got it. It all comes back to that fundamental principle, energy-seeking balance.
That's pretty mind-blowing. But if everything is just energy flowing around, wouldn't the universe eventually reach a state of perfect equilibrium? Like, wouldn't everything just stop?
That's a great question. And it leads us to some of the coolest parts of TFH, how it explains things like dark matter, dark energy, and black holes.
Oh yeah, those cosmic mysteries. I'm always up for a good mystery. Let's start with dark matter. I mean, it's supposedly most of the universe's mass, but we can't even see it.
Right, it's this invisible stuff causing extra gravitational pull that we can't explain with regular matter.
So how does TFH handle that? Does it invent some new kind of particle?
Nope. TFH says what we call dark matter might just be the natural energy distribution of the universe itself. We don't need exotic particles to explain the extra gravity.
Wait, so the extra gravitational pull is just a result of the energy flow?
That's the idea. Think about galaxies with their spiral arms.
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Well, TFH says those spiral patterns are created by the flow of energy through the galaxy. Stars are basically carried along by these currents, and that creates the faster-than-expected rotation speeds we observe.
So it's like those stars are riding a cosmic wave, And we mistook the wave's motion for missing matter.
Exactly. And the best part is, TFH makes specific predictions about how this energy should be distributed.
So we could actually test this idea, see if those predictions line up with what astronomers are observing.
Exactly. It's not just a philosophical idea, it's got testable implications. And speaking of testable implications, let's move on to another mystery. Dark energy.
Ooh, yeah, the force that's making the universe expand faster and faster. What's TFH's take on that one?
Instead of introducing some new, weird force, TFH proposes that the accelerating expansion is just the universe relaxing, like it's still settling down after the Big Bang.
Okay, I'm not sure I follow. How does that work?
Imagine stretching a rubber band really tight, then letting go. It snaps back, right?
Yeah, but it kind of overshoots the mark before settling down.
Exactly. And that's what TFH suggests is happening with the universe. It's still snapping back from that initial state of high energy concentration after the Big Bang.
So the accelerating expansion is just the universe finding its balance. No need for dark energy at all.
That's the gist of it. The initial imbalance is still working itself out, causing the energy field to expand as it seeks equilibrium.
So the universe is like a giant rubber band slowly unwinding. No need for mysterious dark energy pushing things apart. I like it. It's simple. It's elegant.
Right. It's like TFH is taking these big cosmic mysteries and showing us they're not so mysterious after all.
Okay, but what about black holes? Those are the ultimate cosmic enigmas. How does TFH approach them?
Black holes are definitely fascinating. And you're right, traditional physics struggles to explain them.
Yeah, there's supposed to be these points of infinite density where all the laws of physics break down. Kind of scary to think about.
Well, don't worry. TFH offers a different picture. Instead of picturing a black hole as a point of infinite density, think of it more like a hurricane.
Okay, a hurricane. That's an interesting way to think about it.
A hurricane has that calm center, the eye of the storm, surrounded by this intense, swirling vortex of energy.
So you're saying black holes are like cosmic hurricanes?
In a sense, yes. TFH suggests that instead of being points of infinite density, black holes are these incredibly stable energy vortexes.
So dense, but not infinitely dense.
That's the idea. The energy flow is super intense, and that creates the event horizon, that point of no return. But the center isn't a singularity, it's a region of incredibly concentrated but balanced energy.
So it's like the eye of a cosmic storm, a point of equilibrium amidst all that swirling chaos.
Exactly. And when matter falls into a black hole, its energy isn't destroyed. It just gets added to this vortex, increasing its density.
So it's more like a cosmic recycling center, taking in matter and adding it to its energy vortex.
A very poetic way to put it. And this neatly sidesteps the whole singularity problem and the information paradox that plagues traditional black hole theories.
I like this explanation a lot better. Okay, but what about quantum stuff? Like quantum entanglement. How does TFH handle that spooky action at a distance?
That's a great question. And TFH actually helps to demystify entanglement.
Really? Tell me more, because entanglement always seems so bizarre to me.
Well, think about a guitar string. You pluck one end and the whole string vibrates, right? The two ends aren't sending signals to each other. They're just part of the same system.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Entangled particles are like 2 points on that same guitar string. They aren't communicating across space. They're just different aspects of the same underlying energy wave.
So they're connected because they're part of the same fundamental energy field. There's no need for skooky, faster-than-light signaling. It's all one thing.
Precisely. The apparent separation between entangled particles is an illusion. There's no real distance between them at the deepest level.
Okay, my mind is officially blown. But if everything is ultimately this one interconnected energy field, wouldn't everything eventually just smooth out and become uniform? What about all the diversity and complexity we see in the universe?
That brings us to one of the most mind-blowing aspects of TFH, how it reimagines the Big Bang.
Wait, does it get rid of the Big Bang altogether? What happens instead?
Hold on tight, because this is a wild ride. Instead of a single explosive event, TFH proposes that the universe is in a continuous cycle of expansion and contraction.
Whoa, so not a Big Bang, but more like a big bounce.
Think of it like a cosmic dance. Each cycle is unique, but it's all part of this never-ending flow. There's no absolute beginning or end, just this constant ebb and flow of energy.
So it's like the universe is breathing, expanding, then contracting, over and over again.
It's a beautiful image, isn't it? And this explains the incredible diversity and complexity we see. Each cycle allows for new configurations to emerge.
New stars, new galaxies, new planets, maybe even new life. Each cycle is a fresh start.
Exactly. It's a universe of endless possibilities, constantly evolving, constantly changing, but always connected through this one underlying energy field.
This is incredible. It's like TFH takes all those seemingly impossible questions about the universe and weaves them into one coherent story.
It's a paradigm shift for sure. And while it's still a developing theory, TFH gives us a glimpse into a deeper reality where everything is connected, everything is in motion, and everything is, at its core, energy.
After going through all this, I'm kind of overwhelmed by the sheer scale of it all. This makes you realize how vast and mysterious the universe really is.
It really does, and it raises some profound questions about our place in all of this.
Yeah, where do we humans fit into this grand cosmic dance? Are we just along for the ride, or do we play a bigger role?
I know, right?
It's a lot to wrap your head around. All this talk about energy flow, the universe constantly expanding and contracting, and time being, well, not quite what we thought it was. It really makes you wonder about our place in all of this. Are we humans just tiny blips in this grand cosmic scheme, or is there something more to it?
It's a question that has puzzled philosophers and scientists for centuries, and honestly, TFH doesn't give us a definitive answer. It's more about describing the fundamental fabric of reality, but I think by showing us this picture of a universe as a unified energy field, it does offer a new way to think about our place in it all.
So if everything is ultimately energy, are we humans just like little energy vortexes caught up in this flow? Could our thoughts, our emotions, even consciousness itself be expressions of this energy?
It's a fascinating idea, isn't it? I mean, those are some pretty deep questions that go beyond the current scope of TFH. It's not really designed to explain consciousness or anything like that, but it definitely makes you wonder, doesn't it? If everything is interconnected through this energy field, the boundaries between us and the universe might not be as clear-cut as we think.
Definitely makes you think. And speaking of pushing boundaries, the excerpts mention something called Professor Ripple. What's that all about?
Ah, yes, Professor Ripple. It's this really cool AI research assistant that's been programmed with all the ins and outs of TFH. It can answer your questions about the theory, give you explanations, even engage in debates about the finer points.
So our listeners can actually chat with this AI and get their own personal deep dive into TFH.
Exactly. It's a fantastic resource for anyone who wants to really explore the theory in depth.
I love that. It's like having your own personal TFH expert on call. It's a great way to make these complex scientific ideas more accessible to everyone.
Absolutely, because let's be honest, not everyone wants to wade through dense academic papers.
Definitely not. I have to say, I'm feeling pretty energized after this deep dive into PFH. It's one of those theories that just changes how you look at the universe. Like it challenges all your assumptions and opens up all these new possibilities.
I agree. There's a real sense of wonder that comes with exploring a theory like this. It's not just about equations and abstract concepts, it's about understanding the very essence of reality. And TFH, with its focus on energy and balance, offers such an elegant explanation for everything we observe.
It really is beautiful when you think about it. And it leaves us with a lot to ponder, doesn't it? If the universe is this single interconnected energy field, what does that mean for us? Where do we fit into this grand cosmic dance? It's a question worth exploring. And if you're as captivated by TFH as we are, definitely check out Professor Ripple. It's an amazing tool for continuing your journey into this mind-bending theory. Until next time, keep looking up, keep asking questions, and keep exploring the wonders of the universe and our place within it.